Good evening. So out of the 7 points on mind training, what was the first point? And what is covered under that? Hmm?
Impermanence.
Huh?
Law of karma.
Death is imminent.
Huh?
Life is precious. Death is imminent.
Life is permanent.
The fault of
Death is imminent. Impermanence and death.
Yes.
Then
the fault of samsara.
fault of samsara. तीन हुआ.
Compassion.
Huh?
Compassion.
No.
Law of karma.
Law of karma.
Law of karma. Yes. Again. First,
Life is precious.
preciousness of human life. Second, death and impermanence. Third,
Cause and effect.
cause and effect. Because when you die, you don't disappear into nothingness. The karmic result will be there. And the fourth is fault of the karma. Very good. I really don't want to, do like the traditional teaching, talking, and then no idea kuch udhar ja raha hai, nahi ja raha hai, So let us do it more like classes, Beach mein thoda testing, so that you have something to take back. Okay. So, from here, whether you practice the mind training or you practice the lamrim stages of meditation, first you need to do the preliminary, then the actual, then the conclusion. It's always like this. That's the process of practice. Now here in this case we are talking about bodhicitta, Chanchuji same. So they are also first preliminary, then the actual is bodhicitta, then the conclusion, about which I will speak. This is the same process for every practice. If you are cultivating compassion, then there is the actual practice. Must be preceded by the preliminary practices. Because unless you have a sound understanding of the preciousness of your human life, you are going to waste it. That's the reason. Right? It will be like a blind man fumbling upon a big, gold rock and thinking this is another stumbling block, gives another kick and then goes away. Because we don't know the preciousness of human life. One time when an American nun came to me and asked me, Geshe, can you please teach me meditation? I told her, go out and think yourself as a cow, not as a human being. The whole afternoon or whole morning, see yourself as a cow, not as a human being. Stay like a cow, find your food like a cow, then you will get some sense of what it means to be a human being. This is important because we take it for granted as he chalta rehta hai bas. सोने का खजाना आपके पास है पता ही नहीं आपको. कस्तूरी कुंडल बसे क्या है वो ठीक से मुझे पता नहीं. मृग ढूंढे वन में है ना कबीर का. The most important thing is, some people say the most important thing is hidden nearest to you, but you're looking outside. इसमें है, उसमें है. So that's why in Buddhism we say all of us have the Buddha nature, Buddha potential. That means the capacity to become Buddha. So you need to now activate that potential. Until now it is sleeping. It's in a latent, dormant state. You need to activate it. So Buddha nature means your human intelligence. Even Einstein, he said he was not able to use more than 7 or 8% of the human mind's capacity. And he said if he is able to use at least 11-12%, he can create all kinds of miracles. This is true. If you really understand your mind, able to use it properly, you can bring miracles. We repeatedly hear that the Jesus created miracles, Buddha performed the miracles, things like that, right? Right? So how does this miracle happen? When you transform your mind, transform your attitude, miracles happen. Right? So, preciousness of human life. You have obtained this precious human life, but there's no guarantee you will live very, very long. Time नहीं है. कल करे सो आज करे सो आप. जगे हृदय सांच है ताकि हृदय आप कबीर का बोलता है ना वो. कल करे सो the things you are planning to do tomorrow, do it today. Things that you are planning to do it today, do it now. कल किसने देखा हम लोग बोलते हैं ना. Who has seen tomorrow? There's an issue, there's a problem. We are not able to do it. We are so distracted towards so many things. So here you need to make some concrete decisions. Write it on a paper and put it on the wall to remind you, I found this precious human life. I'm not going to live very long. So what is most important for me to do? And somebody is on the deathbed today and 100% sure that he is going to die tonight. What will be his topmost priority? To make money? To exploit? To engage in bribe? Right? To fight? None of this makes sense. So we are in that line. So many stupid things we think we are clever, we exploit and bribe, so long as money is forthcoming. Doesn't make any sense. I read that story told by this Swamiji or somebody who is in charge of this, the Ganga ka Kinara, when all the dead people, bodies of the dead people are brought there to be thrown in the Ganga or whatever. So they first come to his small ashram, stay there maybe 1 or 2 days, something like that. Then he has written down what those people at the last stage of life, what are their topmost thinking. And he has written that when people are there at that time, their senses are more acute, more sharp. They're able to listen to the spiritual songs much better than before. They are able to understand the divisions that he has created earlier. For example, there's a story of a young man. He said, "Oh, I'm going to die tomorrow, day after tomorrow, but before that, please make it a point to bring my brother here. Because earlier we had some misunderstanding and we put a wall in between us to divide. So before I close my eye, I want to dismantle that wall." True story. There's so many stories there that he has told. This is the thing. And we are while alive, we are creating so many boundaries in the name of religion, in the name of caste, in the name of men, in the name of women. And we are very good in making divisions. That shows the pettiness of our mind, smallness of mind. So therefore we need to open up the mind, where everybody gets the access. Don't get stuck with one particular religion. This is the best religion, others will go to hell. These are all stupid nonsense. And even, forgive me to say, even those people who repeatedly talk about God, have they seen God? Have they really directly received all these messages from the God himself or herself? Therefore, when Buddha was asked many philosophical questions, he did not answer 14 questions, whether it's a beginning in the universe, end to the universe, things like that, whether the soul is permanent, not permanent, things like that. He did not answer. On insisting, he said, look, And he actually told the story. If a shooter has shot an arrow from somewhere in the distance, and you are struck by that arrow, and you are bleeding, at that time what would you do? The Buddha asked that monk who came to ask this question. The Buddha asked this monk, what will you then do? You will immediately pull the arrow out and take medications, or you will start asking all the philosophical questions. Who must have shot the arrow? How tall the guy will be? Whether he has a mustache or not? How strong the arms of that person? What was the speed when the arrow was coming on the way? What was the material by which the bow and the arrow is made of? And if you ask all these questions, long before you get those answers, you will be a dead person. And he said, I'm concerned about suffering, overwhelming suffering that people are experiencing. I'm here to help alleviate, to remove a little bit of those sufferings. I'm not here to try to answer all the questions. That's the thing. Sometimes we are so fond of asking dry, intellectual, philosophical questions which has hardly any relevance to your life. So I have been telling people repeatedly, Buddhism must make sense in today's world. There are many wrong things are happening everywhere. The so-called leaders will tell you, okay, you sacrifice yourself for your nation. But he himself will never sacrifice. He himself will never send his sons and daughters to in the battlefield to fight and get killed. But he'll tell you to go there and get killed. And stupid as we go there. He will tell you to die in the name of religion, die in the name of country. I'm not very interested about those things. So I try to talk less about enlightenment, nirvana, and freedom for the country. It may be important, but I talk less. Because the reason is, I want people to get grounded at the first place. How are you going able to take care of your happiness, at least in the rest of life, in the coming years? How are you going to take care of yourself? How healthy physically, mentally, or your children are you going to bring about? There lies the seed for nirvana, enlightenment, political freedom, everything. But we don't do the things that we can easily do, but only talk. So therefore the country never make progress, any country. Society never make progress. Hena? Right? So therefore why I'm saying this is that this teaching should be made relevant in your own life. Okay? So now in order to do that, you need to observe certain sessions. Right from here until to the practice of the ultimate bodhicitta, when you are training your mind, it should be divided into two sessions, meditative session and post-meditative session. And when you do the meditative session, then it should be started first with the preliminary practices, then the actual session, then the conclusion. Okay? We have no time to go much into detail, but at least I want to tell you a little bit about the meditation. The word meditation is very famous today. It hits the headlines of Newsweek or New York Times or everywhere. It has become it got a very good entry into 5-star hotels also. Because meditation, yoga, these are another sources of making money. And if you do the same yoga, same meditation in a very fancy 5-star hotel, you will be charged like anything. Right? So it is important to know the meaning of meditation. The reason that you need to do meditation is, we are controlled by our mind. Are you in agreement with me? We are controlled by our mind. Are you with me? So there's nothing wrong that you are controlled by your mind. The problem is the mind which is controlling you is predominantly stupid, negative, ignorant, selfish. Many so-called educated people may not accept it, but this is what the Buddha says, great teachers say. The mind which is controlling us is predominantly short-sighted, narrow-minded, stupid. So now imagine, if the country is ruled by a short-sighted, narrow-minded leader, the country will be in turmoil, in big problem. So similarly, in your case, if your leader, the mind, is narrow-minded, stupid, selfish, it's 100% sure you're going to have a lot of problem in your life. So you need to, first of all, recognize this, that you are controlled by your mind, and the mind which is controlling is predominantly negative, stupid, selfish. Therefore, I am having problem, I am having suffering. Therefore, now I want to change. That's the reason for your meditation. Now I want to change. Now, process of change is meditation. So meditation now here is not sitting in a corner, closing your eye, not the way many people do these days in many places. They work the whole day like I should not say donkey, but they work the whole day very hard. And then the evening after their work finishes, because that's the only time they have in the so-called busy developed countries. So in the evening they go to a Buddhist Dharma center, supposed to be joining a meditation center. And because they are tired, as soon as they sit there, they fall into sleep. And after a while they wake up and then they say, wow, the meditation was so so beneficial. My dear friend, this is not meditation. I'm not jealous that you took some rest, but that is not meditation. Right? So meditation basically means, as I said, not sitting in a corner, closing your eye, watching your breath. Watching your breath is also very good, but you can't just keep on watching your breath and die. I'm saying this because these days so many people talk about watch your breath, watch your breath. The process of watching the breath should be properly understood. You should understand this, your breath is your remote control to your brain. Life force is related there. So with this kind of clear recognition, it is very useful. But still it is a preliminary practice. Because the reason you do this breathing meditation is because your mind is agitated, distracted. So in order to do any meditation, first you need to bring the mind to a calm state. So therefore the method is to watch your breath, coming in, going out, and the mind settles down. Once the mind is settled, then you do the actual meditation. That's the process. So actual meditation is, simply said, the actual meditation is getting your mind habituated with good ways of life, good things. That's meditation. Whether you're walking or sitting or talking, it is not absolutely necessary that you sit. Yes, it has its own advantages, benefit, but there are people with problems in the legs, so they can also meditate, sitting on a chair. So the important thing is that, as I said, your mind is from immemorial time, your mind is habituated with negative ways of thinking. Therefore you are suffering. Now you need to change that. Now you make your mind habituated with good ways of life. That will bring happiness. That's meditation. Right? So meditation is basically bringing sanity in your life. Right now we are a little bit insane. Right? So bring the sanity. Bring the sanity means not blindly following any particular belief system or religion, but true to the way things are, true to the law of nature. That's bringing sanity. Right? So it has to be done slowly, steadily, but surely. Because right now, this reminded me a beautiful song by the sixth Dalai Lama. In his book of poems called Romantic Songs by the sixth Dalai Lama. These are all written in a romantic form, but really, really for me, very, very practical, encouraging instructions. So there he says, the face of my teacher, which I meditate, hardly comes to my mind. But the face of my girlfriend, which I don't meditate, comes all the time. This is the reality of our life. You see, this clearly shows we are very, very strongly addicted. I prefer to use the word addicted here, not habituated. Addicted to the negative ways of life. And many people ask me this question, a rather difficult question. Why is it that we are more used with the negative, not with the positive? What is your answer? I had difficulty answering this until I read many books. Now I think I have some kind of answer, but I am not so sure. One simple answer. The Buddhist teachers, even the most qualified Buddhist teachers, they always say, because you are habituated for so many lives, but still it is not an answer. Why you are habituated for many lives? Why you are habituated for many lives? What does that mean? Why for many lives? Why you are habituated with bad things, not with good things?
Fear.
Huh?
Because of fear.
Because of fear, whatever. But I think that probably, I read this in a book. Because we were animals in the beginning. Right? So when we were animals, those things that we normally do is getting the food, killing, whatever, praying, getting the food, and then having sex, attachment, anger. Only those things. They are habituated for their livelihood. They are habituated with these things. So this habit is transmitted to us. Our brain still has that animal brain. So unless you put some special effort, but the good news is, if you make effort, you can change that. This is really good news. Because there was a time when scientists, the classical physics, they used to talk about dementia. When you grow old, your brain wires will get hardened, right? And there's nothing much you can do. You will suffer from dementia. That is what the classical physics used to say. Now the modern physics, they talk about neuroplasticity. If you continue to train your mind, you can continue to make mental development. And also, now old man's advice. Many people, they become more forgetful, right? You're not able to remember the names and things like that. There are trainings that you can do. Even in old age, if you do something repeatedly, you will be able to remember it. You're not being able to remember means you're not doing that repeatedly. So there is solution for that also. So therefore, again, meditation becomes the perfect solution, getting habituated. Right? Getting habituated. So during the meditative session, the main point is during the meditative session, there are two kinds of meditation, one-pointed meditation and analytical meditation. One-pointed meditation means focus on just one object and don't get distracted to any other thing. Now the problem with us is, as the sixth Dalai Lama said, that the mind is not able to focus on one object. As soon as you try to do it, so many other things come in your mind. Right? Therefore, because of this, I met people who said, Geshe, before I meditated, I was a nice person. After I meditated, I become a bad person. Which is not true, but because you have meditated, now you have started seeing how many uninvited thoughts are coming. That is a good sign actually. You have started seeing the culprits. And you will be able to catch them slowly. And before you meditate, you have no idea. The doors are open 24 hours, windows are open in 24 hours, burglars are coming, thieves are coming, taking away all your positive, qualities, properties. You have no idea. Now at least you have started seeing who is coming, who is not coming. Right? So therefore now you need to say, when the anger is coming, jealousy is coming, you need to say, gone are the days. You need to be a little bit tough here now. You should say, gone are the days when you cheated me. Now I studied Dharma. Now I started thinking. So I know who is good friend, who is a bad friend. Get lost. I have no more room to entertain you. So don't let entry to all these negative emotions to your mind. And if compassion is coming, patience is coming, forgiveness is coming, then you should say, I'm sorry, it took me some time to recognize your greatness, your importance. And now I know who you are. Please come, have a seat. I'll offer you a nice cup of coffee or tea, whatever you prefer. Something like that. Personify these emotions. Right? So therefore meditation basically means enthroning the positive emotions, dethroning the negative emotions. That is all you have to do in your life. I mean, you can go after all these rituals, tantric initiations, and then celebrations and chantings and all this, colorful things you can do, but if you don't know how to deal with these negative emotions, you are, forgive me to say, you are more or less wasting your life. Or at least you are just repeating what others are doing. This is so powerful. Therefore, even the Buddha made this comment, ordinary worldly beings are so powerful. The world is so powerful. Meaning that there is a trend where the whole world is working, moving. And you are helplessly caught in this kind of vicious circle. And despite your trying to come out of that circle, it is not easy. Your mother stands on the way, father stands on the way, society stands on the way. You see? So you follow the majority. Buddha did not follow the majority. And Krishnamurti, I think it was Krishnamurti who made a very good comment here by saying, to say that follow the majority is like telling a healthy person, stay with a community of sick people. It's really like that. So you need to be a little bit brave to do differently. So this is what these teachings are telling us. Right? So when you do such practice, ordinary people might think you are lunatic. I once read an article by somebody that the topmost scientists and some of the Buddhist meditators, they are half lunatic. Because they do things which is against the normal trend of the society. Right? Right. But gradually you will see the great many benefits of these practices. So in the meditative session, when you try to concentrate on something, you are not able to concentrate, but you need to repeatedly make that effort. And there are two obstructions. One is called mental sinking. When you sit there, meditate, concentrate on one object, the mind will start sinking and become dull and slowly go into a small nap. You are still thinking, I'm doing meditation, very comfortable, as I said earlier. But if you get habituated with this kind of meditation, then you will become a person who will have no sensitivity to the issues of sufferings and responsibilities of the community, which is very dangerous. Therefore, you meet so-called sadhus and other practitioners who are supposed to be meditating for a long time, but they have no sensitivity to other people's sufferings and problems. This is because of doing the wrong focus, wrong meditation. So when your mind is sinking, you need to know it is now sinking, So don't sit there. Don't continue to sit there. You wake up, you just get up, take a nice cup of coffee, go for a short walk, sprinkle your face with water, whatever, freshen up, and then come back and again sit. And then sometimes your mind, when you try to focus on the object, you immediately lose the object, and the mind starts wandering, the picnic that you had last week, the tour that you made in New York last year, all this beautiful singing. You are sitting there, but you are mentally singing, dancing. So you are not meditating, you are extracted. You're distracted, you have very strong excitement. So at that time, think about death. Think about impermanence. Think about something that has a sobering effect on the mind and bring the mind down. So you should know, as meditator, you should know when the mind is getting, dull and when the mind is getting excited. So that your mind stays on the object clearly and stably, as we say. Clearly means the object should be clear to the mind, and the mind should be stay stable on the object. So this is the purpose of one-pointed meditation. Is really it is like pulling all the energies together. A very powerful example is the laser beam. If the rays of the light of a laser beam are scattered, it doesn't have the power to cut through steel. But if all the rays of the light of the laser beam are brought together, it has the capacity to cut through steel. Similarly, camera, when you take the camera, you need to focus it. If you don't focus the camera, you get a blurred picture. So it's like that. So concentration. Concentration is the source of success both in war and in peace. In fact, in all human activities, concentration is the source of success. If you concentrate, do something even for a short time, you will achieve a lot. If you don't concentrate, you continue to do the same thing again and again, but there's not much progress, not much development. So that is one-pointed concentration. For me, even more important than one-pointed concentration is the analytical meditation, where you use your brain and analyze, figure things out by yourself. Ask the question, use the logical reasons, and find things out for yourself. That is the most important thing, which not many people talk about. Most of the so-called meditation sessions and teachers talk about just one-pointed meditation. But analytical meditation, analyzing things, figuring things out by thinking is even more important. Right? About which I commented yesterday also a little bit. Then during the post-meditative session, during the meditation, number one, whether you're really doing a proper meditation or not, that matters. If you are not doing proper meditation, sitting there will not lead you to anywhere. But if you are doing proper meditation, then it's really charging the battery. Purpose of charging the battery is so that you are able to use the flashlight when you go into the darkness. So similarly, the purpose of doing meditation is when you get up from the meditative session, mix with the society, mix with the people, then you meet strange people, You meet competition, you meet people who bully, who exploit, who use nasty words. So there, the effect of your meditative session must be there. So there are few ways of doing it. One is, during the post-meditative session, restrain your senses. Restrain your senses. If you don't put restraint on your senses and let your eye go wild and trying to see everything, you'll get into problem because you will see so many alluring, attractive things. You'll get into problem. Right? And also if you keep on all the rumors, listening to the rumors, you will get into problem. So restrain your senses. Then the second is engage consciously. Whatever you're doing, do it consciously. don't move around like a zombie. Right? It happens with all of us. We are going here and there. Unfortunately, many of us have no idea what are you doing. उधर क्यों जा रहा है मुझे पता नहीं ऐसे ही जा रहा हूँ engage consciously and then moderation in food. Moderation in food. If there's no moderation, if you eat so much, then of course you can't meditate. The first thing that will happen to you is sleeping. And of course it's difficult to breathe and all those things, obesity and all those big problems in the so-called developed countries. So if you eat the right food, which is good for your brain, good for your mind, good for your health, and then also if you're a meditator, then you need to take food which is suitable to the climatic conditions. In cold places you need to eat food which gives more heat or more warmth. Things like that. Right? And then also sleep a little bit less. Especially get up a little bit early and sleep a little bit less. In between you sleep properly with the right motivation, thinking that I'll get up early, or just before you go to bed recite certain prayers and think about some meaning. Then that way the whole night will become a dharma practice. Because your motivation is very, very important. So this is the way that you can gradually be able to cultivate shamat and vipassana. Shamat means one-pointed meditation, which I already explained. Vipassana means the analytical meditation, special insight. Right? So with this preparation, then you think about the preciousness of human life. And as I recited yesterday, because it is only by having obtained this life that there is possibility to get liberated from samsara. Not if you have obtained a life like an animal or a bird, Because it is in this human life we are able to do many practices, including the moral practice, the ethical practice, the 3 types of ethics. That is the basis for any practice. Morality or ethics is the basis. Now ethics is, here when we talk about morality and ethics, we are not talking about observing a discipline which is unwillingly imposed upon you by some outside force. Here morality means 3 things. 1, not doing the bad things. 2, doing the good things. 3, helping others. So morality here means proper way of life. Proper way of life is you stop doing bad things, start doing good things. And then purpose of all this is not just for you but helping others. If you are doing this, you are really doing good moral practice. If you are not doing this, you may be sitting in the corner for hours. It's questionable. Because these are for implementation and practice. Right? Okay. And then you can, as 400 verses by Aryadeva says, regarding the difficulty, of obtaining human life, you can see for yourself, judge the behavior of people living today. Majority of the people go towards the wrong side, not on the right side. Why? Because they don't know anything better. Somebody had asked a very pertinent question, do everybody want happiness? Yes, everybody wants happiness. Then why they are not moving towards that direction? Because they don't know anything better. We are addicted in so many things and we get stuck there. हिंदी में बोलें तो बोलता मैं तो उसमें बिल्कुल फंस गया है, वहाँ से मैं कैसे निकलूँ? ये स्थिति है हमारा. I'm stuck somewhere. How can I get out of it? like asking, how can I come out of samsara? Because the pull is so strong. So unless you make some effort, impossible. Like for this session, this mind training session is a very important teaching, which I thought I will explain. But then how many people are able to attend all the 5 sessions? अभी समय नहीं, मेरे पास दूसरा कार्यक्रम है. I'm not complaining because there are less people attending or anything like that. But I'm saying this so that in the future, if it is an important thing, you should make it a point to do it. And don't distract it to smaller, less important issues. Right? Because in the Tibetan tradition, when you receive such a teaching, it's important you listen to the whole text properly. Because there is a order, systematic way of doing things. So if you listen a little bit here, a little bit there, you will miss the connection. Right? So, Shantideva says, by relying on this boat of human life, we'll be able to get liberated from the great ocean of suffering. Having found this boat, which is so difficult to find, you stupid, ignorant person, this is no time to sleep. This is no time to sleep. Right? So therefore, you need to make special effort. And then another question is, why should we do Dharma practice at all? I have things to eat, I have nice house to live, I have nice families. And many scientists also more or less saying this thing, they just deal with all the concrete, visible things. Why you talk about invisible, metaphysical things? Even Buddha did not answer many metaphysical questions, so why should we talk about Dharma? So here you need to understand that Dharma practice is important because you want happiness, do not want suffering. Happiness is a state of mind, transformed state of mind. And you cannot transform your mind with money by living in a big building. I just visited Bodh Gaya, very holy place. There also I saw some people fighting. So if your mind is not pure, wherever you go, you come with that negative emotions, you fight. Why the hell you come all the way to Bodh Gaya to fight? Right? So therefore, if you genuinely want happiness, do not want suffering, then it has to come from your mind. Then another question is, yes, Geshe, it's very important to do Dharma practice, but I can't do. I remember this question asked by a French lady many years back when I was a student in the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. His Holiness was giving a teaching in the temple on Mahamudra. Then there was a French lady. It was actually primarily given to a French group. So among them there was a French lady. And she got up and said, Your Holiness, your teaching is so wonderful, so amazing, but in the West we have no time. What should we do? His Holiness actually, in the beginning I thought His Holiness gave a very, blunt answer. He said, you want to do Dharma practice or not, it is your choice. Nobody is forcing you. So I thought, His Holiness, you are a little bit blunt. But he was not blunt, he was really saying the thing. Because if you really think it's important, you have to find time. The musicians find time to play music. The footballers find time to play football. I have seen in my youth, I have seen some of the football fans, Even under the bed, they put the football and then kicking there. You see? So you find time. So you have to find time. So the problem with us is when we say I have no time, you have already relegated that practice in the third, fourth kind of category. I'll do it only when I have time. I'll tell you a story here. It's a story of a human being who made friendship with a ghost. The ghost had some kind of clairvoyance. So the human friend, he said, my dear ghost friend, since you have some kind of clairvoyance, you should help me. And I said, in what way? He said, I am really fearful of death, but also I want to enjoy life. So first I want to really enjoy my life. So when the death is about to come, please tell me a little bit in advance so that I can do practice. That's our thinking, our way of thinking. And then time passed, and then the ghost friend came and said, my dear friend, one of the member of the family up there died last night. The human being said, oh, so sorry, Om Mani Padme Hum, so sorry. Crocodile tear, we do all this. And then time passed. The human being supposed to be enjoying or doing something. Then after some time, the ghost friend again came and said, my dear friend, one member of the family down there died last night. And then the human being also said, oh, so sorry, is that so? Om Mani Padme Hum again. Then one day the ghost came and said, my dear friend, it's your turn to go. And then the human friend said, how come? I told you to tell me a little bit in advance. Then the ghost said, I have never seen a stupid person like you before. I told you 2 times. The person, dying up, dying down. When these things happen, you should know. I'm no exception. It can come any time. Right? So when that time of the death comes, nobody can help you. This reminded me another story. There was a gentleman who was at the marketplace, like us, distracted, maybe the shiny gadgets were not there at that time, but still in the marketplace we all get distracted. So he was talking to his friends and getting distracted, and suddenly somebody tapped from behind, On looking back, he saw the messenger of death standing there. He was horrified. And then the messenger of death said, don't be afraid. This time I came to take someone else, not you. Your turn is next week. So he said, this is good news, at least I have 1 week. So he left the marketplace, the town, and ran into the mountain, hid himself completely in a cave amidst the mountain. So on the last day of the week, since until to that point nothing happened, he thought, okay, now I'm safe. I fooled the messenger of the death. So he just came out of the cave slowly, stretched his arms and craned his neck. Okay, I managed to fool the messenger of the death. Then somebody tapped from the behind. On looking back, the messenger of death was standing there. He expressed his shock, but the messenger of death expressed equal shock by saying, I was told to bring you from here. So I was surprised that you were there in the marketplace last time. So actually this is the place where I was told to catch you. So the point is, this is the story, but this is exactly said in the Buddhist teachings, that there is nowhere you can hide. There's a story of a war, conflict, waged at the time of the Buddha. So one person came and he was hid under the Buddha's robe or something. When the war was over, this person was also found dead. So by all these knowledges, I observe it very funny. Many of the world leaders, they are so good in killing other people. They themselves build bunkers. They'll be found dead under the bunkers also. Trust me. So there's no way you can escape death. Rich people cannot cheat death. Powerful people cannot use their power. So in Buddhism we say it will be like a single string pulled out of a lump of butter. It will come alone with no butter, nothing. Right? So therefore it is wrong to think that you will not be able to do. That was the point. It is important to do dharma practice, but I cannot do. That is wrong. I have no time. That's wrong. Because if you see it as important, you will find time. You have to find time. You have to find time. I mean, in our ordinary life also, when you are not in great difficulty, then you say, oh, I'll do it next time, or I'll do it next year. And suddenly the income tax officers are after you or other things after you, then immediately you think about going up, down, how to solve the problem, you see. Then in many cases it is too late. It's like that. And then some people start thinking, and then he says, you can do dharma practice this time because the external conditions are there, which means qualified spiritual teachers who can explain the dharma is there, still available. And the internal condition of having obtained this precious human life, that is there. And then the third problem is people then start thinking, yeah, that is true, it is important to do dharma practice, but this life I want to enjoy, I'll do dharma practice in the subsequent lives. This is wrong because there is no guarantee that you will obtain the same precious human life after, Or even if you postpone saying that I'll do the dharma practice next month, when I have holiday, you should not do that. Because death is definite. Is that so? Death is definite. But unfortunately, the time of death is indefinite. It can come any time. अरे वो मर गया कल तो यहाँ था बोलता है ना what? He is gone? He was here yesterday talking to me. Latest news is all these people killed in the train station, killed in the Mahakumbh Mela, maybe a few hundreds or something. Yes, Mahakumbh Mela they say 30 something, but it 100% sure much more. In this train they say 18, but it will be definitely much more. Right? So this is also because we just, fools walk in where angels fear to tread. That's the thing, really. So in today's world you need to be very careful where you are going. So don't join the crowd unnecessarily. You can get into big problem. Right? Okay. So many things to explain. But if I continue to stay here, we'll never be able to finish the text. So what should I do? Then the karma, I don't have to explain. If you do good, you will get good. If you do bad, there will be negative result. And then the fault of samsara. The fault of samsara or shortcoming of samsara is, first of all, this is important, more relevant. The fault of samsara or shortcoming of samsara is that, number one, there is no certainty. There is no certainty. When you are within this cycle of existence, there is no certainty regarding who is your friend, who is your enemy. Friends become enemy, enemies become friend. There is no certainty. These days, people are ready to kill even their parents and family members to get property, to get money, which is something we read in the newspaper all the time. So reading newspaper for me is sometimes very useful because it tells what is happening. Right? So there's really hardly anything where you can trust. Your father will be your next time your father will be born as your son, and your mother will be born as your wife with the change of life, and your enemy will be born as your friend, vice versa. So there is no definiteness. And second fault is there is no contentment, there is no satisfaction. This is the problem with our world today. There is no contentment. Everybody wants more, more, more. How much? How much is how much? कितना और चाहिए आपको? ये मैं पूछता रहा ना आपको कितना how much more you need? Then your answer will be जितना हो सके चाहिए. That means I want as much as I can. Then my next question is, okay, you want as much as you can, how many stomachs you have? Only one. Rich people, same stomach. Poor people, same stomach. It's only greed. कुछ हद तक कुछ चाहिए, but not more than that. And you become a slave of money, of wealth. That's how people are getting busy. Nothing else. Disadvantage of being busy, running after money is that you can't eat properly. अबे जल्दी करो, जल्दी खाओ, जल्दी खाओ. Eat quickly. Oh, जल्दी उठो यार जाना है. You can't sleep properly. You can't eat properly. What kind of life you are living? कहाँ पहुँचना है आपको? What is your goal? Where you want to reach? What is your destination by being so busy? Right? So there is a certain level where you need to stop. Enough is enough. And especially there are so many poor people who have nothing to eat, nothing to wear, no proper place to live. So those who are a little bit more privileged, they should start doing something for these people. Even feeding 2 people. I mean, not just giving one day food, that's also okay, but looking after their education. And that will give you sense of satisfaction. That will fulfill the meaning of human life. Otherwise, it's like the bees spend their whole life building beehive, honey, and then somebody will come and take everything and go away. The wealth that you are collecting is like the honey collected by the bees. It's collected by the bees, but it will be taken by a human being. So your hard-earned money and property will also be taken by the so-called brother, sister, husband, wife, whatever. ठीक है ना? And when they take it, you're not giving it, they are taking it. And at the time of death, even if you say, I'm going to give everything, what else you can do? That's not giving. And then the third fault of the samsara is, you have to die again and again. If this is the last time, and then once you die, you disappear into nothingness, then don't worry about dharma practice and other things. But it is not like that. You are born again and again. Right? And then the fourth is you have to be born in the womb of the mother again and again. And then in this human life, you have to experience these ups and downs all the time. My day was not so good today. My blood pressure is increasing. People say things like that. You know, so much ups and downs in life. In general, there are so much ups and downs in life. And then your mind is also not ready to accept that. It's a lot of problem. So therefore your mind should be accept the reality, that ups and downs will be there. And how much you are able to face the reality of life is very much dependent upon your mental attitude. For example, there is one Buddhist teacher who, wrote a beautiful poem where he says, if I'm going to die today, he says in that poem, if I'm going to die today, it's wonderful. It's wonderful because I'm not going to live committing sins and crimes and harming others. So this is wonderful. But that person is not pessimistic. On the other hand, he says, if I'm not going to die but live a long life, wonderful. Then I have time to do many good things. You see, so whatever come, if you see it in the right perspective, everything is wonderful. Everything is wonderful. Huh? Oh my, what should I say? Time just flies. Okay, stop then. Some questions? Yeah.
How can I have compassion with someone like a mosquito who is sucking my blood? The mosquito here can be anything like animal.
But why did you first of all give opportunity to the mosquito to suck your blood?
No, I cannot ask or I cannot control that person. His duty is to suck the blood.
No. It's your duty to defend yourself. Mosquitoes normally breed in places where there is a lot of, water stagnation and things like that.
Not particularly or specific to mosquito, but
No.
mosquito.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, mosquito is an example. But the Buddhist text says that it is impossible to kill all the enemies coming from outside. Be it your human enemy, be it the blood-sucking mosquito, whoever, unless you prepare yourself. Prevention is better than cure in all these situations. Prepare yourself, prevent all these unexpected harms coming from outside. So like for example, the Tibetan Orissa settlement which I visited recently used to be, for lack of proper facilities, used to be a place where there were a lot of mosquitoes and people used to get sick frequently. Now with the passage of time, they adopted more clean habit, came up with better houses. Now there's hardly any mosquito. You see, so you can change all these things. Not just you, but many people together, yeah.
My question is that I'm a counseling psychologist, so I deal with people who are mentally, facing a lot of challenges mental level pe. It can be severe ones, it can be, acute ones. So my question is that how they can start their journey of dharma or healing from Buddhist point of view.
First need you to, but one thing you need to know, that you develop this loving kindness, compassion and all the good things. But that doesn't mean you can solve all the problems. Buddha could not solve all the problems of his time. How can we solve all the problems? But that doesn't mean we cannot do anything. For some people you can help, find the right path, call it dharma practice or sanity or whatever you want to call it. That you can do. But then there are some people who are totally deranged. Nothing much you can do. So there you need to, don't attempt to make them dharma practitioner, but make them feel the power of love, power of compassion. Many people get healed, not just through talking, but actually by caring, giving them proper food, proper sanitation. I've seen some people getting healed in this way. Yeah.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you about conscience versus mind, because what is said is that if you're educated in a certain environment, you're living in a certain family or certain school and society and so on and so forth, you get educated in a certain manner. So your conscience becomes a default kind of a thing, which tells you what is right, what is wrong. So they say if your conscience says you do this, it is right. And this goes on to, as you go along experiencing in life, your default keeps on adding, which your conscience responds, I would like a default automatically. So where does this relate to the mind? You say train your mind, but there is a default already.
Conscience, as far as I understand, conscience, mindfulness, wakefulness, all these are part of the mind. When we talk about mind, it's the universe, the big picture, the world. So within that world of mind, there are so many types. Conscience, mindfulness, wakefulness, it's just a part. So when you do these meditative practices, you need to bring out that watchful state of the mind, the conscience or the mindful, whether I'm in the right direction or wrong direction. As I just read, engage consciously. So conscience, I would say, is the watchdog, which sees whether you're in the right direction or wrong direction. Mindfulness is the one which lets your mind stay on the object. And it's the duty of the conscience to see whether the mindfulness or the mind is staying on the object or not. It's like chokidar. Yeah. All right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a follow-up from a question I was trying to ask yesterday. This is the Mahavakya, Paramam Jnanam Anantam Dharma, Anantam Brahma. What is the Buddhist perspective on this, or your perspective?
First of all, I need to understand this Sanskrit, Anantam Dharmam.
It is a Mahavakya from the Vedas.
Yeah, just can you translate it into English?
It says that God is within you.
Yeah.
Paramam
Yeah,
Jnanam Anantam.
there's the highest knowledge and highest happiness, things like that. But as I discussed yesterday, in Buddhism we don't believe in a God. So sab kahani khatam wahi.
It's talking about the spirit, the force of nature which keeps the world running. For the life.
Yeah. So for Buddhist and Buddhist practice, it is the mind, which is the forerunner of everything. So you are your own boss. If you want to change the world, you and I need to do the work, not just pray to a God or pray to Buddha. You can, if you like, but the real solution will not come from there. The real solution has to come from us. Yes. There. You have the
I have a question here.
Surya.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So you spoke about that there will be ups and downs in life,
Yeah.
and how you face it
Yeah.
is important, and it depends on the mental attitude.
Yeah.
So how does one strengthen kind of your mental attitude? Like there is fear usually, or a feeling of being overwhelmed or anxiety when you're faced with challenges. So how do you strengthen that?
Watch Three Idiot. की फर्क पड़ता और दूसरा फिल्म है ना वो क्या बोलते हैं चलो दिल्ली. Have you watched it? Should watch it. की फर्क पड़ता. There's so many things happen, but it happens. If there's a solution, no problem. If there's no solution, why worry about it? It is useless. And ups and downs will be actually not necessarily a bad thing. Because if it's all ups and no downs, you will never see the reality. So sometimes you are down, you face challenges, then it really tells you who you are, whether you have the capacity to face the challenges or not. So it is important. Yeah.
Whenever Geshe I really like looking at pictures of Japanese gardens and the calligraphy. So is it true that looking at the beauty of nature can give us spiritual experiences?
Yes. Spiritual experience, but not enlightenment. You feel happy, anything that you feel happy when you see or listen to anything that is what do you say, aesthetic or more than that, when you play a guitar, there's what you call a symphony. No. No, the point that I'm making is when everything is in harmony, music is produced. Synchronization. So when there's a synchronicity, whether in flower or in music or anything, you feel happy. You give the same guitar to a monkey, he will also do like this. But the monkey will not be able to produce music. So it doesn't look nice. So this shows, as I was saying, harmony, synchronicity is a part of the way we are born. So therefore we feel happy. But that doesn't mean, you will be able to remove all your anger and jealousy by listening to a music. That's my point. Because when we talk about doing Dharma practice, we are talking about removing the negative emotions. We are not talking about spiritual holidaying. Stuff. Yeah.
Venerable Geshe,
Yeah.
two unrelated questions. Yeah. One is, in Buddhism, is the role of a guru important in spiritual development?
Yes.
And second is, in one-pointed meditation, would chanting or uttering of Om, does it help?
Guru is very, very important. The Sanskrit word guru is a combination of two letters. Gu means ignorance. Ru means remover. So guru is the remover of ignorance. So this is almost like asking, I want to learn carpentry. Is it necessary for me to have a teacher? Yes. If this is the case, even if it thinks that we can directly see, then what need is there to talk about the need of teacher? When we talk about moving into an unknown world, unfamiliar terrain, you need a tourist guide. It's very important. But the guru must be a real guru, qualified one, not the marketeers. There are so many fake gurus these days, whose main aim is how to make money. क्या एक है ना हिंदी में, राम नाम जपना प्राय मलापना. You chant and recite name of the Ram, the mantra Ram, and the property belonging to others will be yours. Ram nam japna pray malapna. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. So don't trust anybody easily. Don't be gullible. The real teacher should be found within yourself. Compassion is your real teacher. Loving kindness is your real teacher. Patience is your real teacher. Harmony is your real teacher. These are all within yourself. Okay? Yeah.
We live in a mortal world, and you said death is only truth, and we are going to disappear into nothing.
No, please, I never said death is the only truth. There are so many truths.
So death is only truth.
No, not only
permanent.
Truth. No. Impermanence is also truth. Emptiness is also truth. So how can I say death is the only
So,
truth?
what is the ultimate of life in that case? Why we live?
Why we live?
Live to die?
Live for happiness.
No. Happiness is in between. We are not getting.
Not,
getting
not,
the
in, not,
question.
in- not in between. If you are a qualified person, even death is happiness.
So you need to prepare for death.
Of course, of course.
So how one can prepare for death?
This is what we have been discussing.
Okay.
Okay, we'll discuss more again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yesterday you were talking about impermanence and all of that, and
Yes.
today you were talking about suffering in repeated births,
Yes.
the rebirth and the
Yes,
suffering
yes,
and all
yes.
of that. But yesterday you were saying that what is transmitted from one life to the other is just your consciousness or whatever it is. So really, what is suffering? I mean, what is suffering in the next life? I didn't understand that. What is reborn in the next life and what suffers then? It's not clear in that sense.
Yeah. This is not clear because we are always thinking in terms of embodied reality. We are always thinking about physical reality, not thinking about non-physical reality. That's the problem. That's the problem.
So what is what is
Therefore,
non-physical?
therefore, I was saying when we talk about human being, it has two, qualities. The qualities of having the mind and qualities of having the body. Body we understand, it's concrete, it's physical. Mind we hardly understand. We do talk about mind, my mind is happy, my mind is not happy. But when asked, what is mind? Kahan hai? Pata nahi hai. That's the problem. So what is being said is, when you die, the body is disposed, but the mind, the best way of explaining the mind, it is like energy. And that subtle energy goes. Now that subtle energy, now to explain this, let me give you an example. Mosquito, for example. Mosquito also has life, has existence, right? Right? It's not very big like us. But then there are like living beings much smaller than mosquito. Even in this water, which to my naked eye looks very clean, pure, no insect, but I am sure there will be some. So tiny, imperceptible. So from there you will get a clue about the possibilities of existence on a non-physical level. So on that non-physical level, let me give you another example, more easier example. For example, if you record a song on a tape recorder, tape cassette, if you record a song, right? Push the record button and you record it. A song, nice song of Lata Mangeshkar. Then next you record somebody shouting and yelling and fighting. Record it. Now having recorded these two things, is it possible for you to see the song? And the shouts and the fightings, the loud noises, are you able to see it? If you look at the ribbon, can you see it? You are not being able to see it doesn't mean it's not there. How can you figure out? Put the tape back in the recorder and push the play button. First you will hear the song because you recorded song. Second you will hear the shouting because you recorded that. So this is like that. So whatever we are doing, good things, bad things, Hindi mein bolte hain na chap, imprint is left on the mind and that mind goes with it. I mean imprint is also a difficult English word, but actually habit. That habit of the mind continues.
But because it's impermanent, how does it affect you in the next life? I mean, the next life, where does the mind go? The question of the rebirth in the Buddhist philosophy thing is, I mean, my question basically is when you say it's impermanent and things are changing and mind and consciousness is carried to the next life, then who is actually carrying that?
No, for that we don't even have to talk about future life. Even in this life, What are you doing today? How is it going to affect your tomorrow's life?
Right, exactly.
You will experience it. Why?
No, no, but you just said that rebirth is the cause of pain and the samsara and the repeated.
Rebirth, not in general.
Sorry?
Rebirth, there are two types of rebirth. Positive rebirth, negative rebirth. When we talk about rebirth, negative rebirth, then we are bound to experience suffering and problems. Right? So the main issue is not so much about rebirth. The main issue is about the continuity.
So can you explain that a little bit? What is positive, what is negative, and all that? I mean,
Negative is anything that you do which brings suffering is negative.
in terms of rebirth.
In terms of rebirth or even otherwise, anything that you do which brings suffering is negative. Anything that you do which brings happiness is positive. Emotions.
Buddhism is not believe on the rebirth as
Huh?
believe in
Huh?
Buddhism does not believe in
No, we believe in rebirth. Yeah, rebirth, reincarnation, these are two terms.
after death our soul
No, the easiest way to understand is, you are here today, right? You will be born tomorrow also. That is rebirth, in a sense it is rebirth. No. Start from here, then gradually you will understand how it will continue. So now if your mind continues from today, then tomorrow, then next year, I wish you live 100 years, then until to that the mind goes. And then suddenly when you die, the mind disappears, though there's no reason.
Okay, but you want to say that we change our habits in this life, so this is rebirth. We change our habits or we gain positive.
No, rebirth is very simple. Rebirth means being born again.
No, that is physical. Suppose
Physically, mentally, you are born again.
after that there is.
Now the main issue is, being born again is not the problem. The problem is what kind of rebirth. You are born again with a lot of suffering, lot of problem, then that is not what we want.
No, I want to know after that. Is
Yeah.
there another life? Suppose after that, what will be the? Is there will be I will go on another species or?
No, that depends upon what you do in this life and what you've done in the past lives. So this important question. There is no, definiteness that your life will become better and better after every life. There's no guarantee. Depending upon what karmas you do, you may be born as a higher rebirth, higher life. You may be born as in a lower rebirth. It depends upon your action.
So in Hinduism, we believe that after death, somebody will become dog and somebody will become elephant. His soul.
Yeah.
To some other.
Same.
So in Buddhism, is the same way you believe?
Yeah, if it is true what you are explaining, then it's same.
So same in that
Yes.
context, Buddhism
Yes.
is the same.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's no guarantee that you will become better and better. Yeah.
My question is more from a parent's perspective.
Yeah.
Faults of samsara, which you mentioned with respect to contentment.
Yeah.
Now we are in a world where it matters where you get education from.
Yeah.
Right. Which is again dependent on all these materialistic things.
Yes.
Okay, your ability to get to those
Yes.
institutes.
Yes.
And therefore, the question which you said, how much is how much, you will never get to know.
Exactly.
So how do you address this dilemma?
This is not an actual dilemma. It's a dilemma that we are creating. Because otherwise every sensible person knows that you need a house, even if you say decent house to live in, and good food to eat, then enough.
But is it
So you don't really have to, see, judge yourself in the parameter of other people. They have this much amount of money, they have this much building, so I also have to compete and become like that. It's not necessary. You need to have enough money to look after the family, look after the fees of the children. If you have that, then you're perfect. Yeah.
was 4,
Yeah,
and so on and so forth.
yeah,
Because the population of human beings are rising,
yeah,
it's safe to assume that consciousness of this planet is improving because you said this is the most precious form of life,
yeah.
which can give you that growth.
Yeah, I was asked this question many times before. So I also had difficulty answering this. Is this really true? So many precious human lives. Then later on I understood that not everybody is precious. So still, the number of precious human beings are very small. There are many human beings, but unfortunately not very precious.
But to be born as a human being, you've done something good
Something good.
to get to this level.
Generally say, yes, it is good, but if we scrutinize, then it's also difficult to say that it's good you are born as human being. Because some of these human beings are the source of the greatest problem and misery in the world. The dictators, for example. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Since we've been speaking about the law of karma and causality,
Yeah.
how do you explain that to the families of people who died last night at the station? You know, how do you explain, because that is adversity that they have faced there.
That's why the Buddha gave two levels of teaching: definitive teaching and interpretative teaching. So for those people in shock, you should not teach like that. You should deliver the message slowly, not when they are suffering. Otherwise it seems like, okay, it's your doing, So this actually happened at the time of the Buddha. The famous king, Buddha's friend, Bimbisara, his son, Ajatashatru, killed his father in order to get the kingdom. After that he sank into depression. And then people suggested, finding no solution, people suggested, you go to Buddha, he will help you. So he goes to the Buddha and said, I have committed this heinous crime of killing my father. What should I do? Then the Buddha said, why you worry? Father and mother have to be killed. Marne ke liye hai unko. Just by this teaching, he came back to his senses. When he came back to his senses, then Buddha said, come, I'll explain what I mean. Then he said, kill the father and mother doesn't mean your physical father and mother, but it means ignorance and negative karma, which are like parents giving birth to all negative emotions. So in order to solve this problem that you have created, you need to kill the negative emotions and find the solution from there. So you need to be very skillful. Therefore, using skillful means is a very important thing in Buddhist teaching. You can't be straight and forward to everybody, especially people who are in big shock and things like that. Yeah. But honestly speaking, this is their karma. Because karma means not something they've done in the past, but because they went there.
Okay, so I just wanted to say one thing. Isn't there, it's kind of a value judgment when we say that we human beings are superior and a cow or a monkey are not superior.
Yeah.
So our poor karmas would lead us to be born as a cow or a monkey.
Yeah. Right.
Isn't it a kind of a value judgment that we are kind of ascribing?
No, not to make value judgment does not mean that you can't make honest, statement.
But why is it honest? I mean, why do you think human beings are more superior than a cow? Because
if you had listened properly to my talks, I had said that the unique thing with human being is human intelligence and capacity, which is not there in a cow, in that sense. But then after that, I also said, but from some perspective, human beings are worse than animals. So again, it's how you explain in different contexts. Yeah.
I think it's almost time now. Geshe, thank you once again for the teaching, and thank you everyone for joining today's class. We look forward to see you all again tomorrow, same time. Thank you.
Good night.